Hi guys, AstroCass again with another astrology video. This one is for my celebrity series and it's with Kourtney Kardashian. It's going to be on her. Because why not keep up with the Kardashians? They're always making some kind of news. So I thought it would just be fun to just finish off doing their family. Before I jump into it, please subscribe to my channel and like this video if you enjoy it. I really appreciate it because it does help me grow my channel and reach a bigger audience. And I just really appreciate it. And it doesn't take much to support. I'm giving you my energy and doing readings, giving you entertainment and support and like teaching while I'm showing you these astrology placements. So I feel like, giving someone a like or subscribing to their page is a really fair energy exchange. And I also love it when you guys comment in videos and ask questions. I also do paid readings, so tarot, oracle, astrology readings. I do natal chart readings, year aheads, transits, solar returns, synastry, all of those things. So I'll link the details down below so you can reach out to me for a reading. Otherwise, I'm always available on my Instagram, so you can find me over there and we can catch up that way. But right now, what I'm going to do is share my screen so we can look at Kourtney's chart. Now, I'm filming outside today, so if you can hear some birds or hear my dogs walking around, just ignore that. But yeah, I am just filming outside because it's a really nice day and I like to be outside and look at these beautiful trees that are in front of me. I might have to show you guys a bit later, but I've got a really nice view because my property backs onto a vineyard, so there's lots of beautiful trees and birds and stuff around. But that's not why you guys are here. Let's jump into it. So Kourtney's chart, let's talk about her big three. Obviously, she's got a Pisces rising. Her sun is in Aries at 27 degrees and her moon is in Capricorn at 10 degrees. So this is really interesting because her sister Kim, who is obviously born the year after Kourtney, has a lot of Libra energy and stellium, whereas Kourtney has an Aries stellium. So they are all opposing each other. So this is really tough energy for them. And I think that's why, they're making headlines all the time. Obviously Kim and Kourtney clash quite a lot on the show, but obviously they've had quite a big feud at the moment, which is why they're in the news and making headlines currently. Kourtney called Kim a narcissist and they both said some pretty horrible things to each other. And I think that's because of that Aries and Libra opposition and energy. They're very, very different. But let's talk about Kourtney. We'll talk about her ascendant or her rising sign first, which is this little Pisces energy here. Now, she's a very early degrees Pisces, which it looks like it's about 3 degrees. And by the way, I'm using whole signs as well. Whole sign system, if you're interested. She also has the South Node and Venus there. So what does that tell me about her? The first house links to our self-identity, our physical body, our self-branding, and the way we appear to people when they first meet us. It's kind of the energy on how we project ourselves out to the world. So Pisces energy is very soft. They are usually lost in their own thoughts, lost in a fantasy world. They can be a little bit aloof, like off with the fairies. They usually move quite fluidly and slowly because if you look at the symbolism of Pisces, it's the 2 fish. And so they usually have like the kind of watery fish looking eyes. They usually have, like softer, like a spiritual kind of vibe or look to them. They usually have really empathetic type of energy to them. I feel like these people, when you see them, you kind of know that they're healers or they're quite spiritual or they're very sensitive. So it is quite a beautiful placement, but these people are usually quiet and, very soft and a bit slower. And usually, as I said, off in their own little fantasy world. So keep that in mind. With the South Node here, the South Node is your past life, if you believe in that stuff, or it's just the lessons that you've already learned. So she's already learned a lot about who she is as a person and her self-identity. And so she's in this lifetime having to release that, and she needs to go more into the North Node, which is in her 7th house of close one-on-one relationships and marriage. So that's something that you need to kind of know about Kourtney. And then the other thing is obviously Venus being in Pisces. Now, Venus is actually exalted here in Pisces. This is very dreamy, very romantic, very idealistic kind of love. It's the poetry of love. It's very romantic and very sweet energy. So she has a beautiful heart and a very soft, caring, empathetic, nurturing side to her. And then if we have a look at her sun, this is where it gets more interesting, because Aries is the fire sign. It's the warrior. It's, you know, passion. It's all of that side of things. It's the entrepreneur. It is the one that's like brave and wanting to stand up with people. They're the pioneers. And her sun is there. And again, the sun is exalted here, which is beautiful. So she has an exalted Venus and an exalted sun. This energy is really amazing. And the sun likes to be in a fire sign. She also has her Mars in rulership, which again is amazing. So not only does she have an exalted Venus and an exalted sun, she has her Mars in rulership. This is amazing energy for her. She also has Mercury there. So remember, like, I take it back a step, but Mars is what we're fighting for, what we're fighting with. It's our passion, it's our motivation, it's our desire, it's our phallus, sex. It's, yeah, that drive. So that's that type of energy. With it being in the second house, she's motivated by what she values, money, and her resources. She also has Mercury here. Now, Mercury is our mind, it's our thoughts, our communication, our logic, those sorts of things. It's also kind of linked to our learning style and all that kind of stuff. Now, it's in Aries. Now, as I said, Aries energy is the warrior. It's very brave. They're pioneers, but they're also a little bit immature, and they can be a little bit reckless, and they can be very impulsive, and they can be a little bit angry and hot-headed. So that is part of her personality, because she has that stellium. She's a very fiery, assertive person, and she will be brave, and she will stand up for people, and she will stand up for herself. And I feel like that's probably why she butts heads with Kim and maybe other family members so much, because she wants to be independent. She wants to be her own person. She wants to do her own thing, and she wants to focus on what she values and her possessions and make money in her own way. And usually those people are entrepreneurs. And I think because she's part of the Kardashian family and branding, she hasn't really been able to show us who she is and what she's interested in, and work in a career that actually suits her and what she wants to do. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, she doesn't like being somewhat famous, and that she isn't grateful for, obviously, like Kim putting her on the map and making her somewhat famous and her family famous. But there is a huge side to Kourtney that wants to do her own thing and wants to do it in her own way. And I kind of feel a little bit sad for her that she has to kind of have so many restrictions. Like, she's the type of person that would, just want to post her own thing on social media and do her own thing in her own way. And she's just not able to do that because of the branding and because of the Kardashian family and label. So having that stellium, especially her son there, must be so challenging, being part of that family and empire. Okay, so that's her sun. And she's got some really nice aspects to her sun as well. But she does have a square from Jupiter as well. So I do think she finds like the family expansion and like the family fame and blessings really hard to kind of manage sometimes, because, as I said, she can't really have fun and do her own thing in her own way. And I think she really struggles with that and like that family dynamic there. But let's talk about her moon now, because obviously big three, we've done the rising, we've done the sun. Her moon in Capricorn, it's in fall, so it's not overly great because it's opposite Cancer where it rules. So this is really a challenging placement. And remember, the moon represents your mother. So this shows that her mother was very potentially cold and more worried about her career and her reputation. Her mum could have been, very strict on her, very authoritarian, because that's that Capricorn energy. They're very hardworking, very dedicated, very authoritarian, like, I'm the boss, you do what I say type energy. And it's her moon that's there. So this is her family, but especially her mother. Like, that moon represents her mother. So she finds that really hard. She finds it hard being in the public eye and being a mother. She finds it really hard having to work all the time and not be with her children. Because remember, this is in an opposition, and Cancer rules her fifth house of children. So the work that she does in the, the fame that she does in, like, everything she does in the public, is for her family, but it takes away from her being able to be with her kids, which is really hard. And I feel like that's because she's always, had a mum that's been quite traditional, very hardworking, and kind of pushed her into focusing on her career and reputation. And so I think that was really challenging for her. And I feel like now she's kind of pushing, and she's at that breaking point where she's like, I want to be with my kids. I want to be with my family. I want that, time to just focus on what I enjoy doing. And she wants to nurture herself and, her children and kind of give back to that, especially obviously now that she's expecting another child. I think she's at that stage now where she's kind of pushing back quite a fair bit and trying to distance herself from her family. She also has Neptune on her MC in Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy on your MC being in Sagittarius, it really shows that you are very well cultured. You like to travel. You're very wise. You're very well educated. You like art and culture and quite sporty things as well. Like Sagittarius energy, they can make really good sports stars, like travel tourist guides and stuff like that. So I find that that's really interesting. But because Neptune's there, Neptune's all about film, photography, like videography. So she obviously, models quite a fair bit, and obviously she's on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So literally her career is all about being filmed and documented and, all of that stuff, like being famous. Like Neptune also rules like fame and icon, being an icon, that kind of energy. And it's also the more modern ruler of her first house, so her self-identity. So literally her as a person and her body is like on public display, and like everyone can kind of see who she is and feel like they, are entitled to access to her identity, her branding all the time. So yeah, that's what I see with her kind of career. But the ruler of that Sagittarius midheaven is Jupiter, and it's in her 5th house in Cancer. And if you've noticed, she does like a lot of like architect, and she likes a lot of like renovating and doing like interior designing for homes and stuff like that. And I feel like that fits that Cancer Jupiter energy in that 5th house of like children and fun and creativity really well. So I feel like she would probably, for a career, if she wasn't working so hard, being part of the Kardashian branding and didn't have so much limitations on her, she would actually be really great at being an interior designer and like renovating people's homes and stuff like that. I think she'd do really well at that. So who knows, maybe we'll see something like that from her. She also has like nutritional, excuse me. Sorry. She also has like nutritional like lollies and vitamins and stuff like that out as well, which I think really fits that Jupiter in Cancer energy, because it's, nutrition, and that's what kind of Cancer is all about. So I find that very interesting as well. The only other thing I haven't really spoken about is the fact that she's got Saturn, which is limitations, restrictions. It's very heavy energy in her 7th house of relationships and marriage. So, that shows that maybe she'll get married a little bit later in life. And obviously she is, quite a fair bit older now when she actually got married. Yeah, and it just shows challenges with relationships, but it can show that relationships can be long lasting because Saturn is time, and it shows that with hard work and effort over time, you'll get rewarded. So it usually shows that when you put in the effort and set the right foundations, it'll be long lasting. So although it's challenges up front and taking a long time to get married, usually those placements show that those relationships will work out and be like long lasting. Or you might date older people, that kind of energy. She also has Pluto in the 8th house. The 8th house links to other people's money. So if you've got a husband or a wife, it links to like their income. It links to inheritances like debts, loans, occult practices, sex, like deep bonding. So Pluto is a planet of like transformation, crisis, power, and control. So that kind of shows that through her relationships and even her marriage partners, she gets a lot of power and control, or people have power and control over her, and like money. So I guess we can look at that through the fact that the Kardashian family is a branding. So that's kind of like relationships. And I'm sure she has like a lot of business contracts and stuff, but also obviously, her husband is quite famous and I'm sure he has quite a fair bit of wealth himself. So that shows that that's that dynamic there. A lot of power and control there with money and other people's money, whether it's business or husband. Yeah, that's just that Pluto energy there. I think that's really all that I kind of found interesting based on her placements. But I mean, if you want to know things about her a little bit deeper as well, obviously, you know, the second house, that's how she makes money. She's got a stellium there. So, she has a lot of really great ideas, things that she could write about and communicate about because Mercury's there, and Aries energy is the pioneer or the entrepreneur. So she's got a lot there that she could actually work with. She's also got Mars there, so a lot of passion, a lot of drive, and a lot of energy that she could put into making money. She can make money really fast, and she can make money with Mercury energy through multiple different facets and pathways. And with her sun there, she can really shine and be creative, and be really fun and energetic. Whether it's to do with like sport, fitness, whether it's to do with, her home interior designing kind of brand, she would do really well at that kind of stuff. And that's how she would make money really fast. But she shines through her possessions, through her wealth. Like the sun being in the second house means that people see your money, they know your wealth, they know your resources, and they can see how well you're doing. And that sometimes can make people jealous of you, but sometimes it can make people be, quite proud of you and just know that you're like, you're a bit of a badass. So that's the second house. Then if you look at her third house, she's got Taurus ruling the third house. The third house links to our siblings, and links to our communication, our thought process. So she's very stubborn. She's very Taurian in that aspect. And her relationships with her siblings, again, she's very much that stable, grounded, practical one out of her siblings. And she tries to bring that into her relationship. She wants relationships with her siblings that are long lasting, that are grounded, that are practical and reliable. And she's always there for her siblings. Obviously, they have conflicts, but you can see that dynamic. And then she's got Gemini ruling the fourth house. That just shows that her mum and her home environment, because the fourth house links to the mother, it also links to the home and family, is very Gemini. And so very adaptable, always changing. There's a lot of communication. There's a lot of talking going on. It's a very curious environment. It's a very social environment. There could have been, lots of people around. It can be a really fun, friendly vibe, very social vibe. So her home and family was always very busy, very fun, with lots going on. I could go on to all the other houses, but that's just kind of giving you a little bit of an idea on more of her private side, because, the first house to like the fourth, fifth house is usually quite private. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And as I said, if you did, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.